Hey guys, so for today, it's gonna be different. As you can tell by the title, I am talking about growing up being shy. God, I'm already being awkward and I don't even know where to start. Okay, for those who know me only on YouTube, you're probably you're not shy. And that's very understandable. While I've always been pretty comfortable in front of a camera, in front of the entire world, I wasn't always like that. This had always been a thing since literally kindergarten. I was super shy. Half of my friends that I have now either know me back when I was shy or know me after I was shy. I have maybe a couple that was there for the in-between, but either some people just know me as shy and some people know me as whatever they know me as. So growing up, I would never talk in school ever. People literally thought I was mute. My teachers used to kind of pick on me for being the quiet kid in the class. And every time I would get put on spot for something, my face would get bright red. It still kind of does that sometimes, but I'm pretty okay for the most part. But any type of human interaction stressed me out to no end because I was always so afraid of my face getting red. And so you're probably wondering, okay, well, even though you were in these activities and you were super shy, well, how did you even make your friends? I would kind of do this thing where I would pick out a person and kind of latch onto them, and that was my friend, and if my friend happened to have friends, then they were my friends, but if not, then that was my only friend. I would latch onto somebody and that was my best friend. Growing up, I did have anxiety, and that's not what I'm going to talk about in this video, but some things that I talk about, if you're shy and you don't relate to it, it might be because my anxiety is kind of mixed in here. But for the most part, this was just me being shy and not my anxiety. Which I'm not gonna get into. That's a whole nother thing and a video that I definitely don't want to make. While I was super shy in school, I wasn't like that at home. The way that you guys see me on the internet, that's how I am at home. I'm that weird, I'm that loud, I'm that annoying. That's how I am. I remember first grade, we had this assignment where we had to write something that makes me happy, something that makes me sad. We had to write different things, and one of the things was something that makes me nervous. And literally, me, in first grade, wrote something that makes me nervous is being the only girl wearing a skirt. Now, for those who know, no, I don't like dresses, and that's not what this is about. When I was younger, I did like skirts and dresses. I was super girly, but I was super nervous of wearing that type of outfit because I always felt it made me stand out. I tried to avoid standing out in every way possible. Growing up, I always had the same hair. I always had the same outfits. I always had the same type of look because I didn't want to stand out in any way. Being the center of attention was the scariest thing that could possibly happen to me growing up. Now, me being a center of attention, oh my god, great, everybody pay attention to me. But growing up, that was not the case at all. Anytime that I was even put on spot for something, my face was red, I'd start sweating, I wouldn't even make eye contact with people. It was the worst. Some of the things that I was in growing up, one of them was CCD, and for those who don't know what CCD is, it's kind of like a Sunday school for Catholic kids, and I was in it. And for the first 2 or 3 years, my class was me and all guys. Now, if that was the case now, great. I get along with guys very well. I actually have more guy friends than I have girlfriends. My only friends that are girls is really Megan and my sisters. That's about it. The majority of my friends are guys, but when I was younger, boys, they had cooties and, and they terrified me, terrified me. I remember, for the first, 5 or 6 classes, my mom had to sit in class with me because I would just cry. Because I was super shy, super, embarrassed to be, the only girl in class, and, anytime, a guy would even look at me or speak to me, I would, cry. feel so bad for my mom. She was such a saint, but like she would literally have to sit in class with me. Thinking about that now, like that's way more embarrassing than being the only girl in class, but like at the time I guess it was fine. But something that would save me was the fact that I was in cheerleading, and sometimes we had, like if a game got canceled, like a football game, we would have a game like on a Sunday, so then I would have to miss some of CCD, so I didn't have to deal with that. Or sometimes I just had practice and I would miss CCD. And you're probably thinking, Stephanie, how were you shy and in cheerleading? I don't have an answer to, I have no idea. I was even cheer captain at one point. You know, I definitely struggled to like project my voice and like be loud. Like I knew every cheer, I knew every stunt, I knew every other cheerleading terms. Every, like, I could do anything, but it was like my voice, like, but I was able to manage because in cheerleading you're not really, it's not like one person is just cheering. Like it's kind of like you have your own like band, like you guys are all saying the cheers at the same time, so it was like I didn't stand out. So that was kind of how I made it through cheerleading, and I did cheerleading for 9 years, so. But yeah, going back to class and not wanting to stand out, one thing that I remember was when I was going through puberty. That was one of the most awful times ever. I remember, God, I remember being one of the few who like started getting boobs before everybody else. It stood out. Luckily for me, at the time, I was able to cover it up by wearing a sweatshirt every day. Then, my school decided to ban sweatshirts. Now for those who don't know how like insecure I am, I'm pretty insecure, but I'm not like this insecure anymore. Not only was I super embarrassed over my boobs because I felt like that made me stand out a lot. Another thing I was super embarrassed of was my arm hair. I am Italian, so I have dark hair, I have thick hair. So my arm hair is very noticeable. It's still very noticeable, but it's something that I just don't care about anymore. Like I'm lucky if I even shave my legs anymore. Back then, that was terrifying. I didn't want anybody to see my arms. I didn't want anybody to see my boobs. Like, oh my God. I still remember the first day I had to walk into class without a sweatshirt on. I literally wore the same sweatshirt like every day. I mean, I changed my clothes every day, but I wore the same sweatshirt over top of my clothes every day. It was a light pink Ocean City, New Jersey or Ocean City, Maryland, I forget which one, sweatshirt that I wore over top of my clothes every day. And I remember walking, God, I remember the first day walking into class without my sweatshirt, and I remember one of my really close friends making a comment like, oh my God, like I didn't know that you had boobs, and I was like, I remember my face got super red and I was like, oh my God. Like I have no idea what I responded. I think like I just blacked out when she said that. I slowly got over that because, you know, girls wanted boobs at the time. I didn't, but they did. So it was like kind of cool that I had boobs. Another thing that I did to hide myself since the sweatshirts were taken away from me was my hair. I wore my hair the same every day. It was always long. I always straightened it. I wanted my hair to look the same because God forbid it looked different the next day. I did not want to stand out. And then when side bangs came around, I was like, oh my God, yes, something that I can hide behind. That was something that I looked for all the time, different ways to hide. The only other hairstyle that I would do, besides having it just down and straight, was a ponytail. That was it. I had no other hairstyle. I never did this. I never did a bun. It's insane for me to even say this, but anybody in college would think this is insane because in college I wore my hair in a bun a lot. Like almost every day I wore my hair in a bun. Before college, I never did that. ever. At least not in school. Maybe like if I was hanging out like with a friend or something outside of school, but in school, like from elementary school to high school, my hair was never in a bun. Because God forbid I would change up my hairstyle, I would stand out. That would put attention on me. And then my face would get bright red and I would start sweating and it would be the end of the world. High school was when I started to slowly get over it, but the beginning was still really rough. I remember for a while I used to like skip classes to avoid like the teacher calling on me for things, or like group activities, or like public speaking. I remember skipping class all the time, just sitting in the nurse's office because I didn't want to deal with it. German class was my absolute favorite class in high school. Favorite teacher, favorite like students in my class. My German class was all guys except me. I don't know why this happened a lot. But they were like all my really like good friends. I dated somebody who was in my German class. My two best friends were in my German class. So I was very comfortable with these people, but they were all very like loud and out there, and I wasn't. I know this video is all over the place and I apologize. A lot has happened over the years and I don't know the order of it. Because if I'm being honest, a lot of this that I'm saying right now, I kind of blocked out. That sounds kind of like dramatic, but like it's the truth. This stuff was like super embarrassing for me growing up. You know how I said that I was super terrified of boys. So growing up, like I've had guys ask me out and I would just say no because I was terrified. I remember the first person that asked me out too was in kindergarten and I said no. And he asked me out again the next year when I was in first grade and I still said no. But I've had, you know, a good amount, sounds conceited, but I had a good amount of guys ask me out almost every year in school and I just said no. And it wasn't until my summer before sophomore year, there was this boy, you guys know who it is. He was not the first boy that showed interest in me, but he was the first one that was pretty persistent. Even though he asked me out numerous times and I said no, he was still trying. It got to the point where I was like, should I just give this a shot? I mean, maybe guys aren't that terrifying. And so when I started dating him, that helped a lot. He was still probably is. I don't know, actually. I have no idea. But he was very like loud and out there and center of attention. He was in my German class and he was always talking in front of the class and joking with the teacher and all the other students in the class, and it kind of left me no choice but to kind of be like that, because it was like everybody knew we were dating, and anytime he talked in front of the class, he would obviously talk to me too. For a while I struggled. But I got used to it because I had almost every single class with him. If the teacher called me for something, I was at least comfortable enough to answer. Whereas before that, I couldn't. Like if a teacher called on me, nothing would come out of my mouth. Not even like I don't know the answer, like nothing would come out of my mouth up until like my sophomore year in high school. My junior year in high school, my best friend, Megan, she was homeschooled beforehand, but she came to high school, and that also helped a lot because then I had a friend, and you guys know how comfortable me and Megan are together if you've seen our videos. If you haven't, okay, bye. And like slowly, like as high school started to end, like I was comfortable with like dating and having friends, and it was just so crazy like how much I had changed, because like I went from people thought I was mute to like, oh my god, she's really annoying. I was literally two different people. I don't know who's watching this, but like I said, there's a good amount of people that only know me as literally mute, and then a good amount of people that know me as like a psycho. But I guess like what I'm trying to say is like, if you're shy and you're afraid that's gonna be your life forever, It's not. I promise. It's not. I still struggle every once in a while. It'll like sneak up on me and my face will get red for no reason, or someone will put me on the spot and I'm like, oh my god, I wasn't ready for this. But it does get better. I was afraid, like, this is my life, like, I'm gonna be like this for the rest of my life, like, what am I gonna do? And now, look at me. I don't have a lot of friends, but I have a good, like, group of friends. I've had a lot of I haven't had a lot of boyfriends, I don't know where I was going with that, but, like, I've had boyfriends. I'm not afraid to, like, be stupid in front of people, embarrass myself. My face doesn't get red as often. I'm comfortable enough to say the word penis in front of people. Like, I'm, like, not afraid of the things that I was afraid of when I was younger. Even though I was super shy growing up, I was super determined to not be. I don't know if it's something you just grow out of, but if you're determined enough, you can overcome being shy. That was probably the hardest video I ever made. Like, I almost felt sick to my stomach when I turned on the camera for this video, because, like, this is stuff that I just really haven't talked about. I think, like, I've mentioned to, like, some people that didn't know that, like, I was shy, but, like, I've never went into, like, details of, like, how bad it actually was. But the main reason that I started filming this was because I was just talking to a friend today, stranger maybe, about being shy, and it got me thinking, like, you know, people on the internet have no idea that that was my life. Okay, I'm gonna stop being awkward, and how about next week we go back to being psycho? Okay. See ya.
Now, Mr. Glass is older and he's doing just fine. Yeah, he made it through high school even though he was shy. He's got a group of good friends and his future is bright. And he still gets sad, but he's happy with his life. Remember when he didn't ask the cutie to prom? Well, now he's got a couple kids and they're calling him mom. And remember when he couldn't raise his hand in class? Well, now he's up on